No! That's my childhood! Now I'm gonna ruin my old classics! Please don't, that's some of your best work. I'm gonna make Marvel into an unrecognizable mess! Don't! Making those movies all fit together was a near impossible task! And now, I'm going to destroy the Simpsons! Oh. That's it? Just, oh? I mean, it was kind of already going downhill before you even got to it. It's been on the air for way too long and The Simpsons kind of already done everything already. Sure, it was fresh when it first came out, but no show can stay good for over 3 decades. Yes, but I'm still gonna make it even worse! Mickey, almost anyone can ruin a sculpture, but almost no one can make a pile of garbage smell even worse. Mickey, I didn't think you could do it, but somehow you made trash smell even worse. So I've made lots of videos about what Disney has done to Marvel, Star Wars, and their own IPs. But Simpsons was already past its heyday long before Mickey got his grubby little gloves on it. But because Disney wants to have the highest ESG score in the world, so BlackRock will keep funding them, they did what they always do. That's right, it's the same stuff they did to Marvel and Star Wars. They made it woke, but mostly woke in the way that won't piss off China. Chief Clancy's Wiggum's wife, Sarah Wiggum, was a secret badass thief this whole time. Yeah, I'm sure that's what the original showrunners always intended. Now, on the one hand, I am happy that at long last they are finally doing something with her character, and if it was just her who was changed, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But the other women were also changed into badass, strong, smart, amazing women. It was a problem when they all basically had the same personality, a good housewife, or just being a clone of their husband. But this is a bit too far in the other direction. Also, they are all still the same, but in different ways now. They made her hotter than she used to be. I thought we were supposed to push for plus-size women, but apparently if you make them badass, you also have to make them thinner. Now, Kathleen Kennedy had no involvement in this show, but if she did, you can bet your ass that she would have made her into a British brunette. Sarah Wiggum's is the least bad, but now we're moving on to Brandine Spuckler. The Spuckler family, better known as the Hillbilly family, is, well, a family of hillbillies.
Inbred trash!
There's running jokes about them being inbred and having a very, very large and twisted family tree. There's inconsistencies on how they're related, but normally they're brother and sister. Also, they are poor as white trash gets. I know a lot of people like to point out how offensive the jokes were about non-white people back in the 90s, but poor white people were also not safe back then. Hell, I don't think they're safe even now. Cletus is stupid. I mean really stupid. He makes Homer and Barney look smart by comparison, but he might have the power to see the future, which is probably due to him being an offspring of an alien. Brandine was also stupid for the longest time, but once Disney got the rights to The Simpsons, she is now super smart, and because of this, her husband leaves her. But later on, he gets a library card and tries to get smart like her. So we have one woman who did absolutely nothing being turned into a badass thief, and another woman who was a clone of her husband being made into a super smart person. I gotta be honest here, this isn't a bad thing. Sure, Disney is just doing this to make their ESG score go up, but at least they're making the characters more interesting. Sometimes wokeness is bad, and sometimes it's good. I know I'm gonna get a lot of angry comments from right-leaning people who got to this part of the video, along with a lot of angry comments from left-leaning people who heard me say the word woke, or didn't even bother watching the video. But this is about how I feel. I'm not here to be a grifter for one side or the other. I won't lie, I do find it a little funny how every woman under the House of Mouse has to be made into an amazing person, but I wouldn't call any of these two women Mary Sues. At the end of the day, they are still flawed and imperfect characters. But other things have also changed, like Homer no longer strangling his son. Not gonna lie, this joke did get old, but I don't think any father ever strangled their son because of The Simpsons. We can't just baby-proof everything. I can't see anyone being offended by this, and I was abused a lot growing up. He says times have changed, but when was it okay to strangle your son in the late 80s or early 90s? No, honey, I'm not doing anything wrong. Homer did it, so it's okay. Yes, if this was real life, it would be a big problem, but it's a cartoon. I can't wait for people to call Tom and Jerry animal abuse next.
Make American families a lot more like the Waltons and a lot less like the Simpsons.
I miss episodes like Mr. Plow. It's something that would more than likely never be made today. There's also that "We're More American Than Your Wife's" song about Trump. It quickly became one of the most disliked videos I've seen in a very long time. Even if you hate Trump and you think he's the worst president ever, you have to admit him running away from 4 women of color is pandering to the max. Also, the jokes about his small hands and fake hair got old almost right when they started. Yes, Trump is very anti-immigration, but he wasn't exactly trying to deport all non-white people. I always found it stupid when people said his wife wasn't legal. Apparently, people don't know you can marry into citizenship. Just because you're an immigrant doesn't mean you're an illegal immigrant. Yes, ICE has deported people who were legal immigrants, but that also happened before and after Trump. But now we are getting into the big one, and the reason why you clicked on this video. The episode Bart vs. Itchy and Scratchy. Season 30, episode 18 is actually the 4th lowest rated Simpsons episode of all time. Now I know what some of you are going to say in the comments. Hang on there, Just a Robot. This episode came out March 24th, 2019, which is just 4 days after Disney bought Fox. Animation takes a very long time to make, so there's no way they made this episode in just 4 days. Okay, you may be right about that, but the thing is, I'm still gonna blame Disney for it. After all, this episode was probably pushed by Fox just to get their ESG score up. And Disney released this episode to do the same. Now I'm aware that TheMysteriousMrEnter has already reviewed this episode, and if you want more information, I would highly recommend checking it out. The episode starts off with, something completely unrelated to the rest of the episode. Yeah, this is part of the classic Simpsons formula. Start the first 3 minutes of the episode being about one thing, then completely switch gears. The episode actually starts off with Krusty making a female reboot of Itchy and Scratchy.
We're making some big changes to your favorite cartoon. It's different!
And no, this is not a permanent change, because they go back to being men the next time we see them in an episode. Now, Hollywood has been making reboots of shows for the longest time, and people have been complaining about them. But then they got the idea to add women or minorities into their reboot. That way they can strawman their opposition into being racist or sexist.
It's an all-female reboot of Itchy and Scratchy!
Oh my god!
Not only that, but it also gets their ESG score up.
Pretty enlightened, eh, kids? We here at The Krusty Show really care about gender diversity.
But as I said in my "Is race spending making people more racist" video, stuff like this can lead to people being more racist and more sexist on average. Remakes are almost always worse than the original, and when the reboot is starring gender-bent or race-bent characters, then people will associate bad things with women and minorities. But who cares? The company now looks good, and that's all that matters.
Girl power is where it's at. That movie where Superman was a chick made him a kilo of shekels.
I know Mr. Enter already made this point, but Supergirl was a complete bomb at the box office. Maybe Krusty is referring to Wonder Woman, but the thing is, Wonder Woman is one of the 3 biggest DC superheroes of all time. So of course a movie about her was gonna turn a profit. And while Wonder Woman's powers are very similar to Superman's, I would say that movie was more like a female version of Captain America, if anything.
When Girl Itchy and Scratchy comes on, we should totally hate watch it. No, everybody come over to my house and we'll turn off the TV the second that girl cartoon comes on. We'll hate not watch it.
Now, I already made a video about how hate watching doesn't make shows successful, but they're also making fun of the people who won't give the show a chance at the same time, and that's a complete contradiction.
We did it! We prejudged something without giving it a chance!
My argument from that video still holds up. If you watch a show and you don't like it, you're bad. But if you watch the show and still don't like it, you're also bad. Oh my god, you're such a man baby that you won't even give our show a chance? Wow! Oh my god, you actually sat down and watched it? Haha, you're a hate watcher! I think this is a reference to the Angry Video Game Nerd when he said he wasn't going to watch Ghostbusters 2016. The thing is, he knew he wasn't going to like it, and if he did watch it, he would have just been called a hate watcher. theater. This is such a doomed if you do, doomed if you don't argument. Bart invites a bunch of his friends over to not hate watch the show with him, and they, blindfold themselves. This is such a weird straw man. Does Hollywood actually think people go to see the new Star Wars movies and they blindfold themselves in the theater? Hollywood, I hate to break it to you, people just don't show up to see these movies or shows. That's why each Star Wars movie made hundreds of millions of dollars less than the last one.
This is Lisa Simpson, recording my reaction to this historic moment in cartoon women's history.
Oh no, they ruined Lisa Simpson! They made her into a reaction channel! Also, it's pretty weird that Lisa has a poster in her room that says Cartoon Women's History, and there's only 5 characters. Once again, this does not work because there's a hell of a lot more than just 5. Also, an all-female reboot is not a historic moment with how much they happen nowadays. Unless, of course, you're one of those people who think that the sun rising is a historic moment. The all-female version of Itchy and Scratchy is, of course, just as violent as the original Itchy and Scratchy, which I'm pretty sure would actually make feminists very angry because it promotes violence against women. Bart comes into Lisa's room for no reason while she's filming her reaction because, say it with me folks, because it's a super convenient thing that happened so that the plot could move forward. Also, while Lisa was recording her reaction, she decided to stand behind the camera for no reason. Like, I get it's annoying when people point out every single little animation error, but this is such a big one. Just have her film her reaction while she's looking at the laptop and then have Bart come behind her. It's such an easy fix.
We did it! We prejudged something without giving it a chance!
Yeah, but if you did give it a chance, Milhouse, then you would have been a hate watcher. Lisa decides to upload her video of Bart without his consent, which, by the way, is considered a felony in several areas. And it of course goes viral, even though something like this would probably never go viral. Yeah, remember all those viral videos of people laughing at shows they claim to hate? Remember how they got millions upon millions of views? Oh wait, that never happened. Also, in both my She-Hulk video and in my full review of Velma, I did laugh at a few parts. But as far as I'm aware, no one clipped the parts where I laughed and said, "This guy claims to hate She-Hulk and Velma, but he laughed a handful of times." Just because a show or a movie I don't like makes me laugh once or twice doesn't mean I'm being a hypocrite. Bart's friends, after seeing the video of him laughing at the female version of Itchy and Scratchy, all turn against him and try to beat him up. Yeah, remember when I laughed at a handful of the jokes from the show Velma, and my entire audience turned on me and tried to beat the oil out of me? Oh wait, that never happened. Bart hides in the girls' bathroom and comes across a group of 6th graders. He works with them to prank Skinner, and now Bart has went from a rebel without a cause to a rebel with a cause. But the thing is, whether you're fighting for a cause or not, domestic terrorism is still domestic terrorism. They spray paint Skinner's office, they make the cross on the church look like the female gender symbol, they dump pink fluid on the principal, the mayor, and the chief of police. So attacking public officials and religious sites is okay, but strangling your son goes over the line? What?
Buffy Riot is so cool! We need fearless female activists to fight back against misogyny and man-spreading!
Oh my god, we're still talking about manspreading. Oh wait, this came out 5 years ago and not too many people bring up that talking point anymore. God, remember how much BuzzFeed would talk about manspreading and people would respond with pictures of women putting their bags all over the place? Sometimes I miss 2016. But what's the message of this episode? People who don't like female reboots are cringe, but people who do domestic terrorism are cool?
Are you in Bossy Riot? No way! Good, because if you were fighting for women's rights, it would destroy my entire vision of the universe. Actually, I totally am.
Wait, isn't the purpose of activism to get people on your side? So Lisa had a problem with Bart when he wasn't on her side, and now that he is on her side, she still has a problem with him?
You can't be an activist for women's rights! You don't know anything about the feminist cause!
Oh, so he's a perfect feminist.
This is someone else's war, and you're just a mercenary!
What? Mercenaries are used in warfare all the time.
Why does every discussion about feminism turn into an argument about Star Wars?
Probably because feminism ruins Star Wars.
Mercenaries are cool, like Boba Fett.
Wait, Boba Fett is a bounty hunter. He's not a mercenary.
Crusty Cave. He said he'd never show another all-girl Itchy and Scratchy ever again.
Did he cave to the backlash, or did he cave to the fact that he kept on losing money, and the higher ESG score wasn't making up for the profits lost? The group Bossy Riot, which is a reference to another group that I can't say the name of without getting demonetized, decide that because they didn't get what they want, they're gonna destroy the master tapes of every single Itchy and Scratchy cartoon. With how big Itchy and Scratchy is in this world, that's like billions of dollars worth of animation cells. And they're gonna do it on live TV. I'm pretty sure they're gonna get life in prison. Bart gets tied up, but Lisa saves him. Remember the golden rule, women can save men, but men can't save women.
Don't do it! Those shows are funny! Mice killing cats, guts everywhere! It doesn't matter if it's boy guts or girl guts. Guts are guts! See, the thing about comedy is... Bart, stop mansplaining!
Okay, as cringy as that mansplaining line was, God, remember when that talking point was everywhere? The point that this episode is trying to make is that whether the reboot is about women or men, it's still just as enjoyable. Whether the main character is a man or a woman, Star Wars is still about cool space battles. Whether the main character is male or female, superhero movies are still cool. And so on and so forth. The thing is, this argument doesn't work because, well, reboots do a lot more than just change the gender or the race of the main characters. And if they did just change the race or the gender and nothing else, then it would just be boring because it would be the same thing just with a new coat of paint. Reboots often have a worse story, worse writing, and are filled to the brink with political messaging. A lot of people were optimistic when they saw The Rise of Skywalker, but when The Last Jedi came out, they were not happy. The nail polish gets dumped all over the place, causing the boys to cry, and for some reason this is seen as a victory by Bossy Riot. I thought feminists supported men crying and showing their emotions, but apparently if men do that, they'll still make fun of them. Feminism supporting toxic masculinity! The episode finally ends with Lisa joining Bossy Riot even though she was against what they were doing, but now she's with them. This episode doesn't make any sense at all. This entire episode feels like it's propaganda for what Disney is doing. The message is completely unclear and the entire story is an absolute mess. I know there's going to be a few people who will say things along the lines of, "Oh, but Simpsons has always been woke. Lisa sometimes made liberal talking points." Yeah, sure, that happens sometimes, but now it feels like it's just everywhere. And shortly before this episode came out, they would make fun of the other side as well. Now, Disney has made Simpsons better in some ways. That Death Note episode was awesome. But in other ways, they have made it worse. But Disney didn't ruin Simpsons. It's just a show that has been on for way too long, and it really just has to end already. Anyways, my next video is going to be about the rise and fall of Disney. I hope you guys check it out. And also on my power scaling channel, I have a video about the technology in Dragon Ball. Once I get that channel monetized, I can really start pumping out videos. So please go check it out.
See? Girls like my pandering.